In a small town surrounded by hills and lakes lived a bright little girl named Anaya. She was cheerful and kind. But she had one strange habit: she never went anywhere without carrying too many bags. Every morning on her way to school, Anaya could be seen dragging along a huge backpack filled with all her books, even the ones she didn't need that day. On one shoulder hung a smaller bag for her sports shoes. In her other hand, she carried a lunch bag packed with snacks. And sometimes, just to be safe, she brought along a fourth bag filled with things she might never use. Her friends often teased her. "Anaya, why do you carry so much stuff?" "You don't need half of it," they said. But Anaya always gave the same reply. "What if I need it later? It's better to carry everything with me." At first, everyone laughed and thought it was funny. But soon it wasn't. The bags grew heavier each day. Anaya began arriving late to class. She became too tired to play in the schoolyard. Some afternoons, she sat on the steps watching her friends run and laugh. But she could no longer join them because her arms ached and her shoulders hurt from all the weight. One day, something even stranger happened. When Anaya opened her bags to rearrange her things, she found that they weren't just filled with books or shoes anymore. Inside one bag, she saw a jumble of worries, questions, and fears floating around like dark little clouds. "What if I fail my test? What if people don't like me?" whispered the clouds. Another bag was stuffed with old mistakes. She could almost hear them whispering too. "Remember when you said something silly in class? Remember when you forgot your homework?" The third bag was filled with fears of the future. "What if I don't get into a good school? What if I disappoint everyone?" And the smallest bag, surprisingly, was the heaviest of all. 'Twas crammed with other people's problems, her friends' fights, her cousin's sadness, even worries she picked up from the news her parents watched. Anaya stared at the bags in shock. She realized she was not just carrying things. She was carrying the invisible weight of her mind. That evening, as she struggled home along the dusty road, she met an old traveler leaning on a wooden walking stick. He noticed the sweat on her forehead and the bags dragging behind her. "Why are you carrying so many bags, child?" he asked gently. "I need them," Anaya panted. "What if I leave something behind?" The traveler smiled kindly and tapped his stick on the ground. "Imagine this stick is your life. If you tie too many bags to it, one day it will break. Life is not about carrying everything. 'Tis about choosing what matters." Anaya frowned. "But what if I let go of something important?" The old man chuckled softly. "You won't, because the truth is most of what you're carrying was never yours to begin with." And with that, he walked away down the road, leaving Anaya deep in thought. That night, she sat in her room and opened her bags one by one. She looked at her worries and realized that most of them never came true. So she set them down beside her bed and promised herself not to carry them tomorrow. She opened the bag of past mistakes and whispered, "I forgive myself," before letting them float away like balloons. She peeked into the bag of future fears and decided to keep only one: the fear that pushed her to study harder. The rest she set aside. And finally, she looked at the bag full of other people's problems. She thought for a long time, then said softly, "I can help my friends, but I don't have to carry their weight for them." She placed that bag by the door. For the first time in a long time, her shoulders felt light. She slept peacefully that night. The next morning, when Anaya walked to school, she carried just one small bag. Her friends looked at her in surprise. "You look different," one of them said. "You look happier." Anaya smiled. "Yes, because I finally learned that carrying less lets you live more." From that day on, whenever life tried to hand her too many bags, Anaya remembered the old traveler's stick. She asked herself, "Do I really need to carry this? Or is it okay to put it down?" And slowly she learned that the heaviest burdens are not the ones we hold in our hands, but the ones we keep in our hearts. Every story holds something schools never mentioned. If you wish to keep learning beyond the textbooks, subscribing will keep these hidden lessons coming.